Hello, loves. Welcome back to TigeraGitana. Today I'm coming out, you guys, with a really quick video, but a very important one. And I got the download to do this video for you guys, specifically because of the season itself. But I was contemplating and meditating on what you guys needed to hear right now, and this is what came. And this is gonna be the before you call in your soulmate checklist. Okay, so this is going to be 3 things that you need to do before you do that prayer, do that spell work, ask your ancestors, ask your spirit guides, ask your whoever you work with to help you and assist you in calling in and bringing in that soulmate energy. So the first one, number 1, is reflect. And if you see me looking down, it's because I have my notes on my computer. So the first one is reflect, okay? And I wrote, what did your last 3 partners teach you? Okay, and it's really important to look back at the last 3. Okay, the last 3. And the reason why this is important is because we kind of find that a lot of the time, especially when you look at numerology, 3 is a very significant number. A lot of the time when we kind of move through different partners, even if you're not the type of person that dates around like that, you want to look at what your partners taught you, because you don't want to repeat. You want to have a repetition of those things. And because soulmates can be very karmic, because that's what they do. They bring lessons. They bring a lot of different karma, a lot of things that need healing. You don't want to still be carrying nonsense from like past stuff. So you really, really want to reflect on what did they teach you. So really sit down with yourself and say, okay, John Doe or Jane Doe taught me about this. This is something that I really appreciated that they taught me, even though the relationship was XYZ. I did appreciate that I got to be exposed to this, or I learned this, or I created new habits for myself, or it showed me what I really needed. Whatever it is that that partner like taught you and you integrated into yourself need to be noted. You need to note those things, because once you start looking at partner after partner, looking at what each one of them taught you, you can see what you're open to, because you've already kind of gone through a certain amount of different lessons. And this is very Saturnian energy, and we're going to talk about Saturn in a minute. But you really want to look at your history. It's that quote of, you know, if you don't study history, you're doomed to repeat it, takes a huge precedent in like soulmate work, because soulmates are very repetitive in cycle. When you are calling in a soulmate like energy, or even a soulmate or a karmic partner to you, it creates this calling into your past, into that which you have a connection with, that you want to kind of bring in and manifest in this lifetime and have those connections with. And so when you're looking at the history of the thing, you really want to think back of, okay, let me pull myself back a little bit, and let me see what did I learn? What was my experience with the partners that I've had? Why did I have to go through this with them? What did I take in? Like, was it important for me to have this relationship? Was this relationship a waste of my time? Did I settle? Did I kind of like let it go on for too long? Like, really sit down with yourself and reflect on what happened, what you learned, what you would do and wouldn't do again. Because those partners teach you so much about you, and soulmates teach you so much about you. So you want to make sure that you're carrying that energy forward, that you're like open to, not just the intensity of the connection, but what they're going to teach you. Because it is very important when you're calling in a soulmate to realize and to understand that there's some soulmates that the second they teach you what you need to learn, they be out, they bounce. Like, they literally be like, okay, well, our paths are now like on some other place. Like, I need to go this way, you have to go that way. And they bounce. And so you need to be on alert mode of, okay, the intensity of the connection is going to be there, but I wonder what it is that I will learn, and what have I learned already that I'm bringing into this connection now. So reflection is a huge one. The next one is to dissect. Okay. And the question is, do you hold any resentments towards your past partners? Okay. This is important because a lot of the time, if you're holding different types of resentments, whether it was just uncalled for, or whether, you hold resentments because they were right about you, or the way something went down and maybe you were at fault, but you still resent the way that it happened, or however it is that the trauma kind of, took place. You want to definitely dissect on how you feel about your past partners. If you can't have a moment with your thoughts and sit down with yourself and say, you know what, this person treated me like shit, but you know what, I learned a lot and I appreciate it and I forgive them and I'm moving forward from that. If you can't sit down and say that about your past partners, then there is definitely some resentment there. And you have to really dissect whether or not it's something that will be repeating of. And this is really highlighted in abusive relationships. 1000%. You do not want a soulmate to come in and teach you about how you need to take more control of yourself and create limits and say, okay, this is not what I'm allowing in my life. This is not what I'm allowing in my space. This ain't it. You don't want a soulmate to kind of have to come and do that, because you're basically going to get more emotionally wrecked, because again, the intensity of the soulmate connection it's something that it can definitely make a lot of people crazy. There's some people that can't handle the intensity and that feel that, oh, this is it, that's it, there's nobody else that can make me feel this, there's nothing else, that's it, this is it. But oh my god, we have so many problems, we keep fighting, like what's going on? And then you kind of fall into this, the intensity of connection versus what they're trying to teach you, and you're trying to kind of battle the two over. So it's really important for you to dissect if you have any resentments to your past partners, because some of the things that you could resent, your soulmate could bring on again. Because remember that this is very Saturnian energy when you have kind of these repetitive cycles and lessons until you learn the lessons, until you adapt it, until you integrate it into yourself and say, oh, okay, well, you know what? I learned my lesson. I don't have to repeat this cycle. You don't want the lesson to be taught to you by a soulmate, because it's just going to hurt more. This is a closer connection. It's more intense. So you do want to make sure that you analyze your past partners and say, okay, so, I'm still feeling kind of bad about the way that this person treated me, or like the way they said this, or like just our communication, like it just always felt like I was, however it is that you want to dissect it. It's really important for you to look at what you're holding on to, because that's your baggage. That's the things that you're bringing into that new relationship. You're bringing in all of those things that were said to you, all of the things that you're still kind of keeping close to your chest, that kind of tightens up your chest, that triggers you, and you need to dissect it, and you need to analyze and see if you need to forgive, if you need to forgive yourself, you need to forgive them, and that being whether you need to forgive them at a distance and not let them know, but just like sending them that energy, like, hey, you know what, I let this go. And it's just really important to sit down with yourself and have those discussions. Okay. And then the last one is explore. Okay. And I say explore because we're going to get into the astrological fun parts of this. And the question is, how are your astrological transits around love? While if you are actively trying to call it right now, what does your transits look like for the entire year? What's going on with your solar return? What's being triggered in your transits like right now? What like if you're actually trying to call this energy in, if you're trying to call this person in, what's going on with your transits? You have to know what's going on with your transits, because there's going to be some months where the lesson that you need to be, what your focus needs to be on your finances, your focus needs to be on family, your focus needs to be on your education. It does not need to be on love right now. And so you want to make sure that you're actively looking at your transits to see when's the best time to not only set intention, but work with that soulmate, that kind of and when I'm saying soulmate on this, I am talking about a more love connection, because I know that's the way most people see it. But if you do want to call in a soulmate that by all means, it's a more on a more educational connection. You can also do that too. There are some soulmates that are parents. There's some soulmates that are friends. There's some soulmates that are brother and sister, you know, like it happens. But most people know it as like a love to love kind of relationship type of situation. So that's why I'm speaking on it in this way. So look at the planets and look at your transits based on what area you're trying to focus on. But today we're going to be focusing on a little bit on the love aspects of this. Now, when it comes to looking at your transits, when it comes to love, and when I'm doing a natal chart reading or an astrology reading for someone, or a transit reading for someone, I specifically when I'm looking at love specifically, I'm looking at Venus, I'm looking at Mars, I'm looking at Pluto, because Venus is the planet of love, money, and pleasure. Mars is a planet of passion, and Pluto is a planet of, how do I say this without getting demonetized? That thing that happens that, you know, I mean, how do I say without getting demonetized is a question, but y'all know what I'm talking about. Pluto is the planet of sex, death, and magic. I'm just going to say whatever. Anyway, so you want to make sure that you are paying attention to the energies that those three planets carry when it comes to relationships. You want to look at every sign. You want to look at the transits that are happening, and how you're getting triggered by them. However, when it comes to karmic partners, that includes soulmates, you have to add Saturn to the equation. You have to. You can't get out of adding Saturn to the equation. If you're not looking at Saturn, you're doing something wrong. I'm just saying, you are doing something wrong. Why? Because Saturn is a planet of karma. He is a planet of lessons. He is a planet of time. When you're calling in a soulmate, you are reaching into time. It's specifically past time. That connection which already exists in the world, basically. It already exists in our universe. You have created this connection with someone else, and it exists. And what you're doing when you're setting intention is you're calling on that connection, which is trapped in time, which is Saturn, okay? And you're saying, hey, connection, I would really love to experience you right now in this lifetime. Could you please come through and show up in my life? Let's go. That's like the most Aquarian way to put it. But you want to look at Saturn because you want to look at the karmic aspects of it. Where is Saturn transiting in your chart right now? If Saturn is transiting in your 5th house, if it's transiting in your 6th house, if it's transiting your 7th, 8th, even your 11th, your 4th house as well, because 4th house is the house of family. You want to look at those houses because those are the houses that have you dealing with other people. And what? Sorry, that is Luna. She's playing with. Oh my God, is that the can? Yo, I gave Luna this can of food this morning, and like I came back home from work and I couldn't find the damn can. Anyway, yo, I texted Bae. I was like, "Where's this can? I don't know." Yeah, it's the can. Okay, I'm not crazy. Anyway, I was like, okay, something's happening. Something's up. I can't find this damn can. Sorry. Okay, so you want to look at those houses. You want to look at the planets that I mentioned. You also want to look at Chiron as well, especially if you want to really look at where your healing needs to take place, because again, soulmates come in with this kind of breath of fresh air and straight up lessons into your life. So you do want to look at where you are sensitive, where you are triggered, how Chiron is moving through your chart, and how, you know, you are getting triggered during this time as well. So you want to take all of this into account before you go full blown bruja and be like, okay, I want you to come through ASAP. Thanks. So that way you are kind of set up for success. You're also working with the energy that is best in alignment for you as well. Especially looking at those houses. Also, just a kind of minor note, one of the things that I really like to look at as well is Luna. Stop trying to eat Pinky's food. Hey, no, bad. Good girl. Okay. The other thing that I really like to look at as well is Jupiter. Okay. Hear me out now. Hear me out. This is like one of the planets that I look at, like specifically where Jupiter is transiting. In your personal chart. I'm not talking about for everybody. I'm talking about your personal chart. And the reason for that is because Jupiter brings the energy of expansion. So you can get that opening for somebody to come in. So right now, for example, I'll give you an example with me. I have Jupiter going through my 6th house right now. I have my Capricorn stellium in Capricorn. Next year, Jupiter is going to be in Aquarius. My Venus is in Aquarius. My 7th house is in Aquarius. My 8th house is in Aquarius. Okay, so if any of y'all can guess what's gonna happen next year, is anybody guessing? No? Okay. Well, I'll explain it this way. I guess I'm gonna make this announcement now because, like, I guess it's just it has come up, so we're just gonna do this. But I will be officially getting married to Bae next year. We're literally planning a wedding right now. But we also met when Jupiter was in my 5th house. We're going through this year, which is moving through my 6th house, and then next year it will be moving through my 7th house of marriage. So do you see how, like, Jupiter just kind of, I personally feel like Jupiter opens things up, especially when it comes to opportunities, connections, meeting others. It just does. Jupiter just opens things up. So I like looking at Jupiter in addition to looking at where the other planets are, because everything else was in alignment as well, as far as every planet I told you when I met Bae. Still in alignment now, and it's still gonna be in alignment next year as well. So I really want you guys to take that example into account. It's really, really important to look at Saturn, but also look at Jupiter, because Jupiter just stays, that energy just stays for the, like, pretty much the whole year. And it really shows where the opportunity is going to take place. So those are my 3 things, okay, that you need to do, your checklist before you call in a soulmate. So I hope you definitely take the tips. I hope that you have gained some knowledge, or that you have taken something from this video, or you've learned something new. I hope that you loves have a very beautiful, beautiful week. I will definitely be seeing you guys on Monday for the weekly healing circle. BT dubs, we back. Okay, I am editing right now the vlog from the past weekend, so that's coming through. It's been a very crazy 2 weeks, honestly, but I am editing that video for you guys, so stay tuned. That's coming up very soon. The Patreon updates are already up, and definitely don't forget to check out the Patreon as well, because we're always learning and growing over there. And also for the workshop, so tickets are already officially, like, sold out. And I'm talking, when I say tickets, I mean the free ones. So the donation based tickets are still up. If you would like to join us on Halloween, we will be having a workshop called the Hollows. Okay, I'm really excited. It's a 2-hour workshop, and yeah, it's gonna be amazing. We're doing a lot of ancestor work. There's gonna be a full moon in Taurus. Like, it's just gonna be a lot of fun stuff. So definitely, if you would like to join us, the link would be down below for that. It's on Eventbrite as well. There's also just, like, literally a few ritual kits left. So if you want me to ship you out what you're gonna need for the ritual itself, make sure you add that to your cart before you check out on Eventbrite. But yeah, do not forget to subscribe. Do not forget to ring the bell so you get notified every time I upload. And I will definitely see you guys in the next video. I love you guys so much.